Now today, marriage, unfortunately, is in trouble on so many levels. First of all, more people are deciding to forego it altogether, not to get married, simply to live together. And generally they'll say, well, we don't need a piece of paper to prove our love. But marriage is much more than a piece of paper. When two people marry, they get up before their family and friends, before the state and before God, and say, we love each other so much that we're going to commit our entire lives to one another. And not only when things are going well, but when things get rough, we're going to stick with it. And we're going to do this for the sake of one another and any children that may be coming our way. And we're going to have our love be exclusive. We're going to be faithful to one another. They make those solemn promises before family and friends and the state and before God. It's quite different than simply moving in together. What does that mean? When two people move in together, are they committed for life? Well, generally, the very fact that they're foregoing marriage means that they're not certain how long it'll last. Well, we'll see how things work out. Maybe we'll get married later. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll stay together. Maybe we won't. It shows a profound lack of faith in themselves as individuals and themselves as a couple. And any children that come from such a union are also on shaky ground. Mommy and Daddy aren't married. Why? Will they stay together? Won't they? There's a great uncertainty there. And then there's implications for the community as a whole and the state as well. If people split up, there is no criterion for material goods as well as emotional. It's a very iffy situation. And yet we know all of our families have someone in that circumstance. And we have to pray that their thoughts and hearts and minds are cleared so they can make a decision that will be a godly one before their lives turn ungodly. Now, in marriages, people can be validly married, say outside the church, in a state and civil ceremony. And that ceremony is very important because it becomes clear what these two people are committed to: fidelity and a lifelong commitment. We know the divorces are a reality, but nevertheless, that's the initial commitment. And people that do that show that they have a serious intention towards one another. And the church recognizes such marriages as, for non-Catholics, as valid and as something that will be respected. However, there is this other notion of getting married in a believing community, in the church as a religion, and then in the church as a physical place. When two people come together and they have the same religious values and backgrounds and commitments, their life is going to be a lot easier than those that come from different religious and spiritual backgrounds. It doesn't mean it can't work, it can't be worked out, but it is more difficult. And it's important that when people are courting and falling in love, they know what the spiritual values of their boyfriend or girlfriend are or aren't. Many times people have been dating a long time, they suddenly are in infatuation, they're falling in love, they know what their favorite Chinese foods are, but they might not even know what religion they belong to. Or if they know the person is a Lutheran or a Catholic, they won't know if the person goes to church or not, whether the person prays or not. These should be high up on the priority list of anyone who's seriously looking for a lifelong partner, because marriages without a spiritual foundation, without prayer, generally don't have a prayer. So this has to be one of the most important considerations for anyone in choosing, first of all, a boyfriend or girlfriend, and then a fiancé. What are their spiritual values? Do they coincide with mine? Are my spiritual values deep enough and personal enough and profound enough to sustain me in love for a lifetime and to sustain any human love I might have in a lifetime?